Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope. Okay, there's only one student. Hadia, am I audible to you?
Walaikum assalam. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, could you please inform the rest of your classmates to join in and give me a reminder? What did we discuss the last time we met? Did we start the
Yes, ma'am.
poems?
No, ma'am. You said bring the prints and we'll start them.
All right. And did we talk about the conference of the birds?
No, ma'am.
Are you sure? I think we did. We talked about the conference of the birds by Attaruddin.
Um, but can you please give me a minute, please, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, please.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. But yes, we have discussed the conference of birds.
Yes, I think I shared with you guys
Yes.
about the structure of the entire booklet and how invocation is there. Certain birds out there, they're on a spiritual
Yes.
journey. We specifically talked about Hupoi and the seven valleys. I think we did talk about that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Right. So I just wanted to get myself ready that today we'll start with the poem, the first poem that is called A Spider and a Fly by Allama Iqbal, and it's from Bangre Zarat. Could you please leave a
Yes.
message in your group so that everybody joins, and after 5 minutes we can start.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am.
जी जी.
मैम ग्रुप में प्राइवेसी लगी हुई है तो मैं मैसेज नहीं कर सकती ग्रुप में
ठीक है, सीआर को कॉल कर दे so that he wakes up and message the rest of them. I mean, you
ओके
must
मैम
have classmates जो आपके friends भी हैं, आप उन्हें messages कर सकते हो.
जी मैम मैंने किया है मैसेज
ओके, ठीक है.
थैंक यू मैम
Okay, I've waited enough for the classmates to join in. I'll just quickly share a recap of the last lecture that we had on campus that was about the conference of the birds and how there were certain seven valleys which were propagated and taken forward by Hupoin. I hope you have tried your best to look at the basics of the conference of the birds. The material is important, the concept is important, both for midterm and final term, so you cannot just simply skip it. This is the book that I was referring to the other day. I would like to show it to you a little bit so that you understand how the book works. Now, if you look at the book, it's called The Conference of the Birds by Attar, who's a Persian writer. There are many editions available, but it's a Sufi fable, and the edition that I've taken is the basic one, in which you'll find the basic construction of it. I also posted a link because I had an online class with another class, so I recorded it and I posted it in your Google Classroom. So later on, you can watch, listen once more if you have missed any of the points. So you see, in the very beginning pages or initial pages, they have added some birds, and then it's written by Fariduddin Attar, and it's a philosophical religious poem in prose that makes its style distinguished from the rest of the poems that we are going to study today. Other than that, this is the structural discussion that we had on campus, that it has one invocation that is like a prayer to God, for God, in the praise of God. Then the birds they assemble, and then there is the conference of the birds. Now, if you would like to know something about Attar or what is a Sufi or how one becomes a Sufi, so in these pages you can find the basic understanding that I've already shared with you. I'm just letting you know how to use your book. Now, the first section is forward that I'm not going to read, that you can read. I'm just going to read first few lines for you, that how invocation has been written by Farid, so that the tonality of the entire prose of this poem can be set. Praise to the holy creator who has placed his throne upon the waters and who has made all terrestrial creatures. So look at the first line, that he's saying that the holy creator is the main reason for every creature to be born. And that is true. We also believe in that. To the heavens, he has given dominion, and to the earth, dependence. To the heavens, he has given movement, and to the earth, uniform repose. So he's the one who has made heavens and hell and earth, and any celestial or extraordinary place or creature has been propagated and created by God. So he's praising his art and craft. God is an artist because he made everything possible that you can see around you. So then he goes on to talk about what he has made and what he has not left behind. For example, he has made mountains, he has given us fire, given he has squeezed the waist of an ant so that it can resemble a hare. He gave it black robes and besides. So he's talking about, he's praising the craftsmanship or crafty skills of God, that what he has done. He has made sun and moon. He's the one who has created the man, and it goes on. And in the end of the invocation, he truly takes part in making the audiences or the reader understand that once he has praised every aspect of God, he says, after this, do you think it will be easy to arrive at a knowledge of spiritual things? Because life and nature has so many secrets that humans are still trying to get hold of. So he's not very much, uh, taking a stance or a place where he's affirmative of what he's going to say. He's still looking for meaning. So he's saying that there is no one clear cut definition available for spiritual things. It means no less than to die to everything. What shall I say further? This I represents Atar himself. He is taking charge. Usually the writers when they write, तो वो शुरुआत के पेजेस में बताते हैं कि वो क्यों लिख रहे हैं, और इस इन्वोकेशन के थ्रू वी आर गेटिंग टू नो दिस. What shall I say further, since there is nothing more to say, and there remains not a rose on the blush? O wisdom, you are no more than a suckling child, and the reason of the old and experienced strays in this quest. How shall I, a fool, be able to arrive at this essence? And if I should arrive, how shall I be able to enter in by the door? O holy Creator, vivify my spirit. Believers and unbelievers are equally plungent in blood, and my head turns as the heavens. I am not without hope, and I am impatient. My friends, we are neighbors of one another. I wish to repeat my discourse to you day and night so that you should not cease for a moment to long to set out in quest of truth. So he's taking charge, he's taking this responsibility to disseminate information among masses, and he's going to do it through spiritual journey. Then the birds they assemble. Then one by one, each one of the birds are being introduced, and you must read it. ये आपको खुद पढ़ना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? Welcome Hoopoe, who's one of the most important guiding lights and birds of this entire assembly, of this entire conference. Then his description is given. Then wagtail is there, parrot is there, partridge is there, falcon royal is there, and it goes on. There are number of birds mentioned. So they have gathered over here, and then finally the conference starts. Now the conference opens. All the birds of the world, known and unknown, were assembled together. They said, no country in the world is without a king. How come? How comes it then the kingdom of the birds is without a ruler? This state of things cannot last. We must make effort together and reach for one, for no country can have a good administration and good organization without a king. So यहाँ से start करते हैं that it is important to have a guiding light, and in order to do that, they give charge to Hupoi to guide them, because he has been a second hand to many kings and queens, and he had hand experience to guide them. So, dear birds, she began. I am the one who is engaged in the divine warfare. तो वो अपनी प्लेसमेंट को एक्नॉलेज करवाती है जो हुपोए है. फिर हमारे पास नाइटिंगेल आता है, then हुपोए again. So it goes on. It's a long conference going on between all of these birds that I've already shared with you. जो आप इसको पढ़ लेंगे तो कहानी की तरह है, इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. Then ये एक पावर पॉइंट यानी पॉइंटर्स लिखे हुए कि जिसको आप फॉलो कर सकते हैं. दीज आर द बर्ड्स और उनके मीनिंग, और जो हुपोए की जो वैली है, 7 वैलीज, वो अलग से मैंने यहाँ पोस्ट कर दी है, वो आपने इसको पढ़ लेना है. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? ईच valley has something to offer, and you should know their names and their offers as well. So this was a quick recap of what we have discussed the other day in the previous class. It was important to share because most of you um, um, needed to see this, because I'm quite confident that you did not go and watch it या अपने से खुद नहीं पढ़ने की बिल्कुल भी कोशिश की. Now we are moving forward to the poems that you can see. They are from Muhammad Allama Iqbal. The first poem that we are going to study is A Spider and a Fly. I've taken the adaptation that is meant for children so that you can follow easily. ठीक है, ताकि आपके लिए इसको follow करना कोई बहुत मुश्किल काम ना हो, so that you can understand. This is a very important poem from the perspective of your examination and overall questioning as well. Remember, none of the questions would ask for summary. बेटे पेपर में कोई ऐसा सवाल नहीं है जिसमें आपने मुझे कहानी बतानी है कि कौन किसको क्या कह रहा है. All the questions, they require your critical thinking, your analytic perspective, your ability to express what you can infer out of any instance or any reaction, action, conversation, and etc. And that is what you are going to be evaluated on. Okay, the poems are meant for inspiration, to motivate, to morally give you a sense of responsibility, a self-reflection, self-respect, prestige, and awakening. The poems are, although written for children, but they are meant for humans to be guided through thick and thin, and to learn about how humanity works. So, a spider and a fly, just like the fables that we studied on campus, these were short stories. This is also a dialogue driven fable. The poem, A Spider and a Fly, is a dialogue driven fable. The dialogue is taking place between a spider and a fly. right? There are certain themes in it, and then it's of course, a moral tale as well. You'll see that there is a message, a lesson waiting for us by the end of the poem. Let's look at the first chunk of the poem, that what's happening and who's talking to who. One day a spider said to a fly, though you pass this way daily, my heart has never been honored by you. By making a chance visit inside by you, though depriving strangers of a visit does not matter, evading the near and dear ones does not look good, my house will be honored by a visit by you. A ladder is before you if you decide to step in. Hearing this, the fly said to the spider. So basically, he says that now I'll be referring to the spider as a he and the fly as a she to make it very much clear. Although both of them can be referred as it, but it is important because later on you'll get an understanding, because the praise that spider is going to sing for fly, fly would answer as a she. So it's important कि आप ये याद रखें, spider हमारा जो इसमें है वो he की तरह, यानी उसके लिए जो आप pronoun use करेंगे that is going to be a he, and for the fly you're going to use a she. I hope you understand the difference between a fly and a spider. There is a picture that you can see. This is the spider. It is in the middle of a net or a जिसे आप कहते हैं ना जाला, and this is the fly जिसे आप मक्खी कहते हैं. So there is narration. The first line, one day a spider said to a fly. So narration has been used as a technique by the writer to set the tone of the poem. Now in the beginning, the tonality of the poem is very polite, and it comes across as if two characters from the animal kingdom, they are trying to talk to each other, and both these characters, the spider and a fly, they have their own characteristics. Spiders are cunning, intelligent, and survivors. Flies, on the other hand, they are also very intelligent in the animal kingdom. They can just fly away whenever they are threatened. So that is how you should remember their characteristic. They symbolize a number of things, right? वो भी आपको पता होने चाहिए, जो मैं आपको साथ साथ बताती रहूंगी. Anyway, so what is happening? Look at
एक्सक्यूज
the
मी
third
मैम,
line. जी.
मैम नबीहा कह रही है कि उसकी क्लास ज्वाइन नहीं हो रही.
They are lying. I've just allowed them. Nabiha is never on campus, so probably she's not in the mood to join the class. But I've allowed her anyway. Look at the third
मैम
line.
वो कह रही है कि आईडी और पासवर्ड.
She can join it as a guest, please. Okay, third line is my heart has never been honored by you by making a chance visit inside by you. So chance visit means something that is not pre-planned, or something that a person would have some kind of a plan or plot to visit somebody. So he's saying that I'm waiting for you. The spider is adamant that the fly should come and actually visit his nest, जिसका वो जो उसका घर है. Though depriving strangers, depriving simply means the devoid strangers or the strangers, right? If they would come, it would not be a good look, because you always pass through my house, so you are not a stranger and you should come in. You should always come in and visit, and it will be a honorable visit by you. I will be honored. So he's using the tone of flattery. He's using the praise. Spider is using his words to attract, to capture, to convince the fly to come to his humble abode, to his house. Then, on hearing this, अब क्या होता है? Dialogue है. It's a dialogue-driven fable. Hearing this, the fly said to the spider, "Sire, you should entice some simpleton thus." So he says that you should come, and on the contrary, in a reaction or as a answer, she says that, "Sire, honorable father, or a bigger creature, you should entice," which means you should attract or invite or attempt to invite simpletons, which means you should ask a foolish person to join you in your nest. This fly would never be pulled into your net. So here the fly is showcasing that she is intelligent. She knows it's a trap. So she's declaring that I'm not going to get into your sweet words and flattery and join you. Whoever climbed your net could never step down. So she already knows that whosoever joins a spider would never be able to come back, because spider has a tendency of hunting, and the spider would hunt them down whatsoever. Furthermore, the spider again, the dialogue goes on, said, "How strange, you consider me a cheat. I have never seen a simpleton like you in the world." So he's being cunning, intelligent, and he says that you don't know me enough to call me a cheat, and you're the simpleton. You're the foolish person. You're the simple person. You're the, जिसको हम उर्दू में कह सकते हैं ना, दिमाग से पैदल kind of a person, that you're accusing me, you're considering me to be a cheat, but I've never done that, because you're the most simplest or simpleton person or the creature in the world. I only wanted to entertain you. I had no other personal gain in the view. So he's taking a stand. He's declaring that I have no other personal gains or ill wishes for you. You have come flying from some unknown distant place. Resting for a while in my house would not harm you. Many things in this house are worth your seeing. Though apparently a humble hut, you're saying, dainty drapes are hanging from the doors, and I have decorated the walls with mirrors. Beddings are available for the guests' comforts. Not to everyone's lot do fall these comforts. So he's saying, he's praising, he's giving the fly the reason to join his nest, because he has dainty drapes. Dainty drapes, it's a image as well. Dainty is pretty, and drapes are usually curtains. So he's using this luxurious image or picture to draw in front of the fly, that you should just simply come and join my house, because it has the bedding, it has the drapes, it's pretty, it has mirrors, it has comforts, and not to everyone's lot do fall these comforts. Lot here represents the fate, Fate, fate. That he's saying that I am, the spider is saying that he is very lucky to have all of these luxurious items at his humble abode, and it's not a very common thing for everyone to possess. So she should come and enjoy the rest. That is how he's trying to use his words, his manipulative techniques to lure the fly into his house so that she would follow. Then, furthermore, the fly answers. The fly said, "All this may very well be, but do not expect me to enter your house. May God protect me from these soft beds. Once asleep in them, getting up against is impossible." So she remembers, she does remember, she's intelligent, she's recalling that spider is not that nice. The spider spoke to itself on a hearing this talk. Now this is monologue. देखिए पहले डायलॉग चल रहा है, यानी स्पाइडर और फ्लाई आपस में बात कर रहे हैं, बट अब जब जो स्पाइडर है वो इरिटेट हो रहा है, तो द स्पाइडर स्पोक टू इटसेल्फ ऑन hearing this talk. How to trap it? This wretched fellow is clever. Many desires are fulfilled with flattery in the world. All in the world are enslaved to flattery. These three lines are the most important lines of the entire poem, and you must remember them, because this is the crux of the entire poem. So the fact that the character, that is spider, is talking to himself because it wants to trap the fly. And why would a spider want to trap a fly? Because it wants to eat it. So this is the you know situational irony, or you can call it dramatic irony, because earlier the spider has clearly told the fly that I have no personal gains. See, here in this line, he says, "I only wanted to entertain you. I had no personal gain in view." But on the contrary, when he's talking to himself, he is definitely for looking for some kind of personal gain. He does have has an agenda. So these lines are ironical, situational ironic है और dramatic irony भी है. Then wretched fellow simply means miserable fellow, because क्या कहते हैं, कुदरत का असूल है, नेचर का असूल है कि जो पावरफुल है वो ओवर पावर कर लेता है डिपेंडेंट पीपल को या डिपेंडेंट क्रिएचर्स को. एंड फ्लैटरी, हाउ वुड यू डिफाइन फ्लैटरी? व्हाट इज फ्लैटरी? Anybody who can share their understanding? What is flattery?
No, ma'am, sorry.
Flattery is excessive praise that you use. For example, I can put it into a perspective for you that you usually go to your professors, you tell them you're looking nice today, you're so nice, you're the best professor in the world. I remember your teaching, although you have never listened to them. Students that they have a tendency of lying in the face of the world in front of their professors. That is the concept of flattery कि आप झूठी प्रेस को इस्तेमाल करते हुए अपने बेनिफिट के लिए चीजों को अपनी तरफ मोल्ड करने के लिए जो वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल करते हैं उसे फ्लैटरी कहते हैं। जैसे हीरो हीरोइन जब मूवीज में मिलते हैं तो हीरो जो है जितना भी इवल हो लेकिन वो हीरोइन की अगर तारीफ करता रहे कंसिस्टेंटली या कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ हीरोइन इवेंचुअली मान ही जाती। तो फ्लैटरी, लुक एट दिस लाइन, इट्स अ बेसिकली दिस इज अ मॉरल truth. It is a general truth. It's a moral claim. People have no morality. They will be easily flattered by fake praise, admiration, and gratitude. So there is it's also a proverb. It's a proverb within the poem. This line is important. It's a moral claim. It's a general truth, and that is what um, Spider has concluded that he's going to use flattery in order to enslave the fly, in order to convince the fly to come to his humble board. Then he says, thinking this is the spider spoke to the fly thus, Madam. Now this is why we know that spider is a female, because the spider uses the word madam. He says, Madam, God has bestowed great honors to you. Bestowed means given gifts to you, beauty to you. So, Madam, God has bestowed great honors on you. Everyone loves your beautiful face, even if someone sees you for the very first time. Your eyes look like clusters of glittering diamonds. God has adorned your beautiful head with a plume. Now, look at these lines. These are utterly exaggerated. Basically, this line where he says, your eyes look like clusters of glittering diamonds. This is exaggeration. He is using this figure of speech, this technique of exaggeration, which is called hyperbole, in order to convince, attract, and attempt to lure the fly into believing him. So he's praising the outer beauty of the fly by using these words. He says, your eyes look like clusters. Clusters are groups of glittering diamonds. Glittering means shiny. And God has adorned, which means decorated. He has made you in such a beautiful plume. Now, plume is basically a feather. ठीक है, वो जो मक्खी के सर पे दो आंखें होती है, कभी आपने मक्खी को बड़े करीब से देखा हो तो उसके साथ दो फेदर्स भी होते हैं तो उसको वो प्लूम का नाम दे रहा है। सो दीज लाइंस दे आर शो केसिंग दैट शी विल बी फ्लैटर्ड। अब जब आप एनालिसिस लिखेंगे, अगर एनालिसिस में ये क्वेश्चन आता है दैट फ्लैटरी इज द क्रक्स और ऑल इन द वर्ल्ड आर enslaved with flattery, discuss that how the spider or the poet has used it as a technique to showcase power and control, क्योंकि वो पावरफुल ही यानी अपने कंट्रोल को एक्सरसाइज कर रहा है by telling her that she's beautiful. This beauty, this dress, this elegance, this neatness. So he is using every tactic in his pocket to attract, to make her believe that she is the most beautiful. And all this is very much enhanced by singing in flight. अब जो मक्खियां होती हैं वो एक आवाज निकालती हैं, ठीक है, एक नेचुरल आवाज निकालती हैं, तो वो उसको भी सिंगिंग का नाम दे रहे हैं। तो जब आप इस पोएम को एज ए पोएम ऑफ फ्लैटरी बात करें, पावर एंड कंट्रोल की बात करें, दीज लाइंस मस्ट बी देयर इन योर एनालिसिस। वर्ड्स याद कर लें, लाइंस याद कर लें ताकि आप अपने एनालिसिस में इन्हें इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकें। मैडम, गॉड हैज बिस्टॉर्ड, नाउ दिस इज द फ्लैटरी ही इज यूजिंग। पहले उसने इसको प्लान किया अपने आप से बात मोनोलॉग कहते हुए, फिर उसने मैडम को ऐसे प्रेज किया, मैडम, गॉड हैज bestowed great honors on you, everyone loves your beautiful face, even if someone sees you For the first time, your eyes look like clusters of glittering diamonds. God has adorned your beautiful head with the plume. This beauty, this dress, this elegance, this neatness, and all this is very much enhanced by singing in flight. अब देखें वो आप कहते हो ना जैसे आप लोग आज बात करते हो आज के दौर में बात करते हो कि जो फ्लाई है वो तो क्या कहते हैं वो इम्प्रेस हो जाएगी. द फ्लाई वॉज टच्ड. Now, touched means that she was emotionally moved by this flattery and spoke. I do not fear you anymore. I hate the habit of declining request. Disappointing somebody is bad indeed. तो वो मतलब प्रेस से बहुत सारी अपनी तारीफ सुनने के बाद वो कन्विंस हो गई है. Saying this, it flew from its place. When it got close to spider, snapped it. ठीक है. When it got close, the spider snapped it. Snapped it मतलब grabbed it, तोड़ देना, खींच लेना. The spider had been starving for many days. The fly provided a good leisurely meal, and that is exactly what happened. That she was eaten just because she believed in the fake admiration and flattery that he was using as a weapon. So, flattery as a weapon, as a controlling technique, as a power has been used, and that is what we do to humans as well. अच्छा, leisurely mean का मतलब है that he ate it without any hurry. उसने मजे ले लेकर खाया क्योंकि वो बड़े दिन से भूखा था. So let's put it into a perspective of humans. अब humans क्या करते हैं? हम भी flattery use करते हैं. अब usually आप लोग तो कहते हैं, students हमेशा कहते हैं कि वो तो बहुत ही मतलब angel like है और वो कभी भी ऐसी कोई बात नहीं करते, वो हमेशा सच्चे हैं और वो अपनी बातें ठीक रखते हैं. But I'll put it in a आपको एक perspective में एक example से बता सकती हूँ कि one of my colleagues, उनको एक स्टूडेंट ने आकर जी उनकी बड़ी तारीफ की और उन्हें कहा दैट मैम आज आप बहुत अच्छी लग रही हैं. अच्छा मैम आपने ये बाल जो हैं, फीमेल स्टूडेंट थी और फीमेल टीचर कोई ऐसे बोल रही है. एंड यू नो फॉर अ फैक्ट दैट यूजुअली women लाइक टू टॉक अबाउट दीज फैशनेबल थिंग्स और क्लोथिंग और मेकअप और हेयर और ऐसी चीज़ों में बात करने में उनको अच्छा लग रहा होता है मोस्टली को. So the student kept doing it for a long time, and then she, would offer something from the cafe. मैम मैं आपके लिए ये लाई हूँ, वो लाई हूँ, घर से कुछ बना कर ला रही है. आज ये मेरी मदर ने कुछ बनाया है, ये बना कर ला रही है, खीर ले आ रही है, etc etc. She is making sure that she is making a reciprocity और a connection with the teacher. किसी तरह से उसका connection बन रहा है. And teacher being humble कि बच्चे को बुरा ना लगे वो भी accept कर रही. Eventually क्या हुआ कि जब एग्जाम की बारी आई, बच्ची पढ़ने वाली तो नहीं थी, अच्छी थी बच्ची, बुरी नहीं थी, लेकिन एवरीबडी हु इज वेरी गुड एंड हम्बल पढ़ने में भी इंटरेस्टेड हो तो ज़रूरी नहीं होता. अब क्या हुआ दैट जब एग्ज़ाम हो गया, क्विज हो गया, तो उस बच्चा का स्कोर इतना कोई अच्छा नहीं आया. So she went to the teacher, she went to my colleague and told her that I've provided you with such comforts, I've provided you with food, I've always been by your side, आपकी आपको चीज़ें ला कर देती रही हूँ, आपसे मिलती रही हूँ. तो she was trying to manipulate the situation into making the teacher feel कि अब मैंने आपको इतना कुछ ला कर दिया, आपने एक्सेप्ट किया, तो आपका भी काम है कि आप मुझे उसके बदले में नंबर दें. सो ये भी फ्लैटरी की एक फॉर्म होती है. अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स दे वुड मीट मी, माई ओल्डर स्टूडेंट्स, एल्डर स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव बिन टॉट बाय मी, मिलते हैं तो कहते हैं मैम आप हमें बड़ी याद आती हैं. मुझे पता है ना, आई नो फॉर अ फैक्ट कि बिल्कुल याद नहीं आती होंगी, लेकिन वो मुझे बता रहे होते हैं मैम आप बड़ी याद आती, क्योंकि उन्होंने अगले टीचर की बुराई करनी होती है. तो फिर वो कहते हैं कि अब जो टीचर मिले हैं वो ऐसे हैं. अब उन्हें इस फ्लैटरी का कोई फायदा नहीं है. बट वाई आर दे डूइंग दिस? To showcase power and control, to showcase the art of flattery. Flattery को use करना भी art है. For example, I still am learning how to use flattery to in my own, क्या कहना चाहिए कि मैं इसको किस तरह अपने फायदे के लिए यूज करना सीखूं, क्योंकि I'm a very straightforward kind of a person and I do lack that, वो जो एक होती है ना चीज़ों को मैनिपुलेट करके अपने कोशिश मैं पूरी कर रही हूँ, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं आई एम स्टिल लर्निंग. लेकिन स्पाइडर जो हमारा है वो फुली ट्रेन्ड है, उसको पता है कि कैसे इस्तेमाल करना है. इसी तरह से जब आप घर में होते हैं, आपको कोई चीज चाहिए, यू वांट टू गो ऑन अ हॉलीडे, यू वांट परमिशन टू गो टू मरी और विद योर फ्रेंड्स, या आपको शायद पैसों की जरूरत है या ऐसी कोई चीज, तो भी आप फ्लैटरी यूज करने की कोशिश करते हैं, आप अपने पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो फ्लैटरी में ये सब कुछ आ जाता है। एंड इट्स ए और इस पोएम में जो पोएम की लाइन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है जो आपको याद रखनी है, जिससे आपको पता चलता है कि दिस इज अ जनरल ट्रुथ, जहां पर स्पाइडर खुद से बात करता है, वेयर ही सेज ऑल इन द वर्ल्ड आर enslaved विद फ्लैटरी। तो इट्स अ मॉरल क्लेम एज वेल कि पीपल दे लूज द मॉरल compass by using manipulation techniques into making things happen. So that is all for the poem. As far as I have already told you that it has situational irony where he's talking to himself. Yani he's contradictory. Up tonality of the poem, I've told you in the beginning it's polite, and in the final lines it becomes tragic because the fly has been eaten. The symbols that we have in the poem, the first symbol is the spider, who's symbolizing manipulation and flattery techniques. He's using his words and his easygoing nature to entrap the fly into his nest. Then the second symbol is fly. She's intelligent, but everything goes into vain when she takes the admiration to her ego and she enjoys it. Then the web, the hut, the words that the spider has used in the poem, it's the hut, where he also has used the word bedding, soft bedding. So this is a symbol of entrapment. It attracts or traps the fly into believing something that is not real. Because earlier it looked something that was safe for her to enter, but eventually it was actually a danger zone. But उसने believe कर लिया कि ये safe zone है because of the flattery and the soft spoken words and mirrors, and the fact that Spider has used the word mirrors. He has said that I have decorated the walls with mirrors. Now these mirrors, they represent vanity, because once you get into the praising concept, boastfulness, and self-reflective praise, it becomes very easy to control you. अगर आप वो आप कहते हैं ना, सर पे कोई बात चढ़ जाए, आप चने के झाड़ पर चढ़ जाए, तो आपको मैनिपुलेट करना बड़ा आसान हो जाता है। और फ्लाई के साथ ऐसा ही हुआ, that she was manipulated this way. So in the poem we have multiple symbols including spider, fly, hut, and mirrors. On the contrary, it's a no, on the other side, it's also a moral tale. It's a ironic tale, because fly's pride is conquered by the cunningness of the spider. um, and flattery has also been used as a social critique, and the direct dialogue and direct speech is between the spider and fly में direct बात हो रही है, तो speech को इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, and simple language is being used to showcase complicated psychological aspects of both the characters. Now, although these two characters are not humans, but they are showcasing the concepts of or the behaviors of human tendencies as well. Most of the poem is a dialogue, that we have already established the fact. And we do have personification in the poem, because the characters, both characters, spider and fly, they cannot talk to each other. Usually they don't have the ability to talk, and therefore they are representing human tendencies. They are talking about the cunningness, flattery, and downfall and all. So that is why the characters themselves is the personified characters. And then we have metaphors as well. Now, web has been the hut that the spider says in the poem, that this is my net, this is my humble abode. It has beddings and everything. It represents, this web represents, which is a danger zone, by the way, for the fly. It's a home. It's a metaphor for home for the spider. Then trap as comfort is a metaphor, and then beds are the metaphor for comfort as well. Right, so this is the entire stylistics, thematic, and moral analysis of the poem that I wanted to share with you. I'm giving you 5 minutes to go ahead and take a look at it once more. If you have any questions, you may ask, right? After 5 minutes, I'll read your questions in the chat box. If there are none, if you don't have any questions, you can simply write all clear so that I can move forward to the next poem. Okay, none of you have written anything. Please write that you have understood everything so that I know that you're listening. So later on, you cannot claim that you did not understand. Please write in the chat box that all is clear to you. This is also going to be your attendance. Your comment is going to be your attendance as well. Okay, so some of you have commented. Let's move forward to the next one. The next poem is quite easy. It's similar, of course. Some pointers might be similar, and it has even a bigger message to convey, a mountain and a squirrel. Squirrel गिलहरी को कहते हैं. You can see the picture. And again, a mountain and a squirrel cannot talk, so therefore, personification is being discussed. Personification is being used, and it is adopted for children from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's again a fable style poem, and it does have moral lessons, certain themes and symbols, and much more. As far as themes in the previous poem is concerned, we have theme of manipulation, self-deception, appearance versus reality, pride and vanity, and much more. Okay. अब जो mountain and squirrel है, again it's a discussion or a dialogue between two characters. That one character is mountain, the other one is squirrel. Now, if we start, a mountain was saying this to a squirrel: commit suicide if you have self-respect. You are insignificant and still so arrogant. How strange. You are neither wise nor intelligent, not even shrewd. It is strange when the insignificant pose as important, when the stupid ones like you pose as intelligent. You are no match in comparison with my splendor. Even the earth is low compared to my splendor. The grandeur of mine does not fall to your lot. The poor animal cannot equal the great mountain. This is self-praise. The entire dialogue written in a inverted comma. You can see that the mountain says, commit suicide if you have self-respect. Self-respect means self-dignity or respect for yourself. You're insignificant. You are still so arrogant. So all these things are important where he is declaring, he's belittling the squirrel. Sasi, may I know the reason for your laugh, Pete? You're laughing in the middle of an official class. And you're speaking in another language as well. I'm not sure what you just said. Please be awake and intelligent. ठीक है? Don't be a mountain. थोड़ा सा सोच समझ के क्लास में बैठे. Anyway, so the mountain says that if you have any little bit of self-respect, you should just kill yourself because you're so tiny and you are still so arrogant. That is very strange for the mountain. Mountain further says that you're not even intelligent, you don't have wisdom, and you're not even shrewd. Shrewd means that you do not have practical knowledge. और ऐसा ही है ना, humans, what do? They look down upon those people जो उनसे पैसे में कम है, हाइट में कम है, रुतबे में कम है. हर चीज में, अगर किसी चीज में हमसे कोई छोटा है या थोड़ा है, हम उसको नहीं छोड़ते. हम बीइंग ह्यूमंस, हम उनको छोटा फील करवाने की पूरी कोशिश करते हैं, और माउंटेन यही कर रहा है. अब देखिए, एक माउंटेन और स्क्विल का तो कंपैरिजन ही नहीं होना चाहिए, बिकॉज एवरी tiny little extra creature that extraordinary creature that God has created, or everything that is made has a purpose. हर चीज का कोई पर्पस है, कोई छोटा है, कोई बड़ा है, कोई बहुत ही फेमस होगा, कोई नॉन फेमस होगा, बहुत बड़े बड़े काम करेगा कोई, और कोई छोटे छोटे काम करेगा. हर इंसान का, हर क्रिएचर का अपना अपना एक रोल है और उसको एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए, लेकिन माउंटेन कह रहा है द स्क्विरल शुड कमिट सुसाइड. सो ही सेज दैट यू आर नॉट practical at all. It is strange when the significant pose as important. So he says that it's very strange that you're a tiny little creature and you're arrogant, you do not possess any intelligence or wiseness, and you pose as if you're very important. You are not important. So he's declaring it. When the stupid ones like you pose as intelligent, तो वो उसको stupid कह रहा है. The mountain is calling the squirrel that you're stupid and you're posing as an intelligent person. और हम भी ऐसे ही करते हैं कि अगर कोई थोड़ा सा हमें लगे कि कम अकल कम जिसकी पोजीशन छोटी है, डेजिग्नेशन की बात करते हैं क्योंकि वो समझना थोड़ा आसान होता है कि जिसकी डेजिग्नेशन छोटी है उसके सामने हमारी आवाज़ भी ऊंची हो जाती है, हम उनसे बहस भी कर लेते हैं और उनको डिसरिस्पेक्ट भी आसानी से कर लेते हैं. लेकिन जब बड़ी पोजीशन की बात आती है तो वो आपसे डिसरिस्पेक्टफुली बात करते हैं तो भी आप उसको सुन लेते हैं. सो हम जो है डेजिग्नेशंस को या पैसे को या पावर को या कंट्रोल को ज्यादा रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, और माउंटेन यहाँ पर अपने आप को एज अ सिंबल ऑफ कंट्रोल रिप्रेजेंट करने की कोशिश कर रहा है. फर्दर द माउंटेन सेज यू आर no match in comparison with my splendor. Splendor simply means that I am grand. The mountains thinks कि वो बहुत ही बड़ा है, बहुत ही magnificent और significant है. तो वो कहते हैं this is also a imagery, visual imagery is being used. Furthermore, he says, the mountain says, even the earth is low compared to my splendor. So he's comparing. This is a far-fetched conceit, and he's comparing. It's hyperbole, ये exaggeration भी है. कह रहा है कि earth भी मेरे सामने कुछ नहीं है. फिर कहता है, even the earth is low compared with my splendor, the grandeur of mine does not fall into your lot. So he says that you are nothing in front of me. The poor animal cannot equal the great mountain. So he's belittling, वो उसको कम समझता है और कम देख रहा है. और ये ह्यूमन टेंडेंसीज भी हैं कि हम लोगों को उनकी वैल्यू जो है एक सर्टन तरीके से डिसाइड करते हैं. अब टोनैलिटी की बात की जाए, इस पूरे डायलॉग की जो टोन है वो जो है मॉकिंग है. द माउंटेन इज ट्राइंग टू मॉक, showcase pride, arrogance, and it is trying to insult the squirrel. ठीक है, आगे देखे. On hearing this, on hearing this, the squirrel said, "Hold your tongue. These are immature thoughts. Expel them from your heart." So she is rational. जो स्क्विरल है वो बहुत ही यूनिकली बड़ी कामनेस के साथ कहती है, होल्ड योर टंग एंड दीज आर वेरी मैच्योर half cooked thoughts, these are selfish thoughts, expel them from your heart. I do not care if I am not large like you. You are not a pretty little thing like me. Everything shows omnipotence of God. Omnipotence is अनलिमिटेड पावर एंड ग्रैंडियर ऑफ गॉड. देखें, एक छोटा सा जो एक कीड़ा सा नहीं होता वो जो कमरे में आ जाए और कोने में बैठ के, क्रिकेट बोलते हैं उसे इंग्लिश में, टिड्डी कहते हैं उर्दू में, वो बोलना शुरू कर दे और वो बड़ी इरिटेटिंग सी आवाज होती है और वो आसानी से दिखती भी नहीं है. हमिंग बर्ड आपने देखा होगा, स्प्लिट सेकंड्स में वो बहुत तेजी से उड़ता है, बहुत टाइनी लिटिल बर्ड है लेकिन वो भी मैग्निफिसेंट है. छोटा सा बर्ड है लेकिन उसकी अपनी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं. So the squirrel represents a unique talent of having this calmness and rationality in her personality, and she says that everything shows the omnipotence of God, that God is everything, and I am a pretty little thing, and I do not care that you're so very much large. फिर आगे वो डायलॉग को कंटिन्यू करती है और कहती है, some large, some small is the wisdom of God. He has created you large in the world, and He has taught me climbing large trees. You are unable to walk a single step, only large size. What other greatness have you? So she poses a question in return, that what do you have to offer? I can, Squirrel says that she can walk, she can climb trees, but mountain क्या ही कर सकता है? The mountain is only standing there. आगे वो एक रिटोरिकल क्वेश्चन करती है, एक ऐसा सवाल जिसको वो एक्चुअली प्रैक्टिकली एग्जीक्यूशन जिसकी पॉसिबल नहीं होती. इफ यू आर लार्ज, शो मी सम ऑफ द स्किल्स आई हैव. ठीक है, दिस इज अ रिटोरिकल क्वेश्चन. रिटोरिकल इज RHETORICAL, यानी एक ऐसा सवाल जिसका आंसर पॉसिबल ही नहीं है लेकिन वो मेटाफोरिकली पूछा जा सकता है. शो मी हाउ यू ब्रेक दिस बीटल नट एज आई कैन. नथिंग इज यूजलेस इन दिस वर्ल्ड. Nothing is bad in God's creation. So she takes a charge. It's an action imagery as well. जहाँ पर वो ये कहती है ना, show me how you can break this beetle. Beetle is एक छोटा सा नट होता है. बीटल नट एक कीड़ा भी हो सकता है और नट भी हो सकता है. तो वो कहती है कि मैं इसको अपने हाथों से तोड़ सकती हूँ, क्या तुम ऐसा कर सकते हो? एंड देन मॉरल लेसन क्या है? नथिंग इज यूजलेस इन दिस वर्ल्ड, नथिंग इज बैड इन गॉड्स क्रिएशन. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ मॉरल अफॉर्मिसिज्म. ठीक है, अफॉर्सिज्म क्या होते हैं? जिसमें मॉरल मैसेज होता है. इसमें रिटोरिकल क्वेश्चंस भी हैं, एक्शन इमेजरी भी है, इसमें दूसरी विजुअल इमेजरी भी है, इसमें ग्रैंड्योर भी है, एंड मच मोर. As far as symbols are concerned, the symbols we have is, the first symbol is mountain, जो कि अपने आप को, इसमें कॉम्प्लिकेशंस भी है, सिक्योरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स भी है माउंटेन को. तो माउंटेन रिप्रेजेंट्स प्राइड, एरोगेंस, सेल्फ सेंटर्डनेस, selfishness, and superiority complex. Skrill represents or is being symbolized as a rational creature, a unique talent, and she does understand her place in the world. And the tree climbing and the nut cracking, beetle cracking, they showcase her practical ability, and therefore she's having a unique talent. And then, of course, the fourth symbol could be God's creation. A moral frame is there that there could be differences. हम सभी, अगर अगर आप गौर से आपने कभी गौर किया हो, हम जब भी मिलते हैं हम सब एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट दिखते हैं. यस, हम सबके पास आंखें है, हाथ है, कान है, मुंह है, यानी हमारे पास म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडेबल जो ऑर्गन्स हैं, लेकिन वो सब एक दूसरे से डिफरेंटली काम भी करते हैं, दिखते भी हैं. तो ये डिफरेंसेस जो हैं वो गॉड्स क्रिएशन है. मॉरल लेसन क्या है इसमें? जैसे वो एंड में कहती भी है स्क्रिल, नथिंग इज यूजलेस इन दिस वर्ल्ड, नथिंग इज बैड इन गॉड्स क्रिएशन. सो एवरीवन हैज देयर वैल्यू, and it doesn't matter that which size they are, whether they are big or small, because size does not decides or automatically makes a decision that who's better than whom. Different talents could be there, different creatures could be there, and they are the part of God's creation and design, and nothing that God has created is useless because he is omnipotent, because he has unlimited power. So the poem also declares the unlimited power of God as well. Now, other than that, the themes are that never judge somebody based on their, size. Everybody has a role to play. Pride is foolish, and humility and self knowledge are strengths. यानी अगर आपके पास अपनी, जैसे यहाँ पर हमारे पास जो स्क्रिल है, वो कहती है कि इफ यू आर लार्ज शो मी सम स्किल्स दैट आई हैव. सो शी नोज हर वर्थ. ठीक है, कि उसको पता है वो बड़ी नहीं है लेकिन ये सब वो कर सकती है. And everything has a purpose, respected, have some integrity. So that was the entire poem. It was much easier than the first one. It has very interesting dialogue between a mountain and a squirrel. Now you have 3 minutes. If you have any question from the poem, you may ask those questions in the chat box, please. Okay, any questions? All right, I'll be posting an assignment. I remember, yes, I told you that home assignments are not welcome, but unfortunately, everything, went to online system and all. So by the next class, you'll be able to see assignment submission details and all. So in the next class, you can ask me any relevant questions. Please read the instructions carefully because it's not going to be a copy paste or something. It will require your full-fledged, participation. It will be based on technological advancements where you're going to add technological understanding of your, नॉलेज अबाउट द कोर्स, ठीक है? इसमें टेक्नोलॉजी यूज होगी, नॉलेज यूज होगी, प्रेजेंटेशन यूज होगी, वर्ड्स यूज होंगे और कैमरा यूज होगा। तो इसको मेंटली अपने माइंड में कहीं पर आप बिठा लीजिए। अच्छा, दिस क्लास हैज बीन रिकॉर्डेड। इफ समबडी वाज नॉट एबल टू जॉइन इन, टेल देम टू लिसन टू दिस class at least once because it's very important from the perspective of your midterm examination. अगर आप ये पढ़कर नहीं आएंगे और सिर्फ समरीज लिखेंगे, you will suffer. Secondly, there are only 12 people that I can see. Attendance भी कम है, तो just because ये online हो गया है और आप attendance को for granted लेंगे, तो that can result in a very bad outcome. So please make sure कि आप classes लें, ठीक है? Okay बेटे, that will be all. Allah Hafiz, take care.